Good morning. Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm Mark Bradberry. Why don't you grab a cup and join me this morning? Second star to the right and straight on till morning. That's the directions that Peter Pan gave to Neverland. And you remember Neverland, right? It's that place where you can escape the everyday, grown-up, dull and dingy world of real life. You know, Neverland is that place where you can pretend to be a pirate. You can explore high adventure. You know, you can have all of your childhood dreams come true, and maybe, just maybe, you can fly. You can fly. You can fly. Wouldn't that be great? But those are some really big wishes to fulfill, and it takes a little bit more than pixie dust to do that. You know, but the story of Peter Pan really alludes to a sad truth. You know, we adults can get so stuck in our past that we can lose all that sense of awe and wonder, that childlike sense for the future. Yeah, we can get stuck there. The past holds us back and we never move ahead. Well, it's a very old problem. The book of Genesis tells us about Adam and Eve, and it says how they were shamed with guilt over their presumption of trying to become like God. And God banished them from the Garden of Eden. Now, Eden was all they had ever known. And as you know, it was a place of provision. It was a place of safety. It was paradise. It was beauty. It was everything they needed. It was life. All lost. Every bit of it. Their Neverland would be no more. God expelled them from Eden and cursed them to work the very ground from which Adam had been created. And so serious was this banishment that God set an angel in front of the way back with a fiery sword to prevent them from returning. Now, you'd think that that would be the end of the story, you know, the end of a dream, the end of all hope. But it's not. It's not. Even though their entire world was lost, Adam and Eve moved forward. That's right. They walked forward out of the garden. They suffered the consequences of their own actions, and they moved forward, still under the watch care of a creator God. You know, they moved past the greatest of losses. Now, I find it really, really interesting that in the very next verses after this, in Genesis chapter 4, it tells us that Adam and Eve made love and they produced a child. And now, they produced a lot more children as well. You know, talk about moving forward, right? But they lived a long time and they became the father and mother of all mankind. Now, take note, take special note. They lost paradise, but they didn't let that defeat them. They didn't let their failure stop them. Now, were they crushed? Were they disappointed in themselves and at the situation? Of course they were, but they moved forward. They didn't just sit down and let their failures define them. They humbly followed God. They set their sights forward, and then they lived fruitfully in the context that they had. And, as you know, with long-range results that they would never see. And here we are today. Here we are. All of us. Every one of us. And everything that is. And through Adam and Eve came the Redeemer named Jesus, who brings us back home. Now, have you lost your Eden? Have you experienced things that make you feel like your life is just over? Do you find your mistakes and your circumstances are just too much? Well, you need not give up. No, not at all. You may have failed in the past. You may have stumbled. You may have done egregious wrong. But life goes on despite the heartaches. Now, your idea of Eden may be forever behind you. That's right. But you have a choice whether to step forward to embrace a new future. You do. And I encourage you, grab it with gusto. Move forward despite the past. Second star to the right and straight on till morning. Enjoy your coffee.